so I can read the words. And I know the reflection is really annoying. It annoys me so much, but I can't read without them. So yeah, I hope that's okay. Now this book is written in a different way. It's kind of written, well, a few of the chapters are written as like diary entries, and they've written it so some of the words are crossed out. So obviously, if I can find a page, when I'm reading, I think I'm just gonna, when I read a bit that's been scratched out, I'm just gonna make a scratching sound, or I'll say scratch that. So hopefully it'll make sense like that. But yeah, let's get on with the video. So this is the cover. The covers in this series all have a different eye in them. So this one's kind of dark and kind of looks like a burnt forest. So yeah, there'll be a lot of tapping and page turning and just general book sounds in this video. So at the top of the book it says, "My touch is lethal." Scratch that. My touch is power. So that's how I'll read the diary entries. And then the back says, "I have a curse." Scratch that. "I have a gift." "I'm a monster." Scratch that. "I'm more than human." "My touch is lethal." Scratch that. "My touch is power." "I am their weapon." Scratch that. "I will fight back." So this book is about a fragile teenage girl is held captive, locked in a cell by the re-establishment, a harsh dictatorship in charge of a crumbling world. But Juliet is no ordinary teenager. One touch from her can kill. The re-establishment wants to use her as a weapon, but Juliet has other plans. After a lifetime without freedom, she's finally discovered the strength to fight back and to find a future with the one person she thought she'd lost forever. So if that sounds like your type of book, just sit back, lie down, get relaxed, and let me read some of it to you, okay? So let's... Okay, Chapter 1. I've been locked up for 264 days. I have nothing but a small notebook and a broken pen, and the numbers in my head to keep me company. 1 window, 4 walls, 144 square feet of space, 26 letters in an alphabet I haven't spoken in 264 days of isolation, 6,336 hours since I've touched another human being. You're getting a cellmate. Scratch that. Roommate, they said. We hope you rot to death in this place. Scratch that. For good behavior, they said to me. Another psycho just like you. Scratch that. No more isolation, they said to me. They are the minions of the re-establishment, the initiative that was supposed to help our dying society. The same people who pulled me out of my parents' home and locked me in an asylum for something outside of my control. No one cares that I didn't know what I was capable of, that I didn't know what I was doing. I have no idea where I am. I only know that I was transported by someone in a white van who drove 6 hours and 37 minutes to get me here. I know I was handcuffed to my seat. I know I was strapped to my chair. I know my parents never bothered to say goodbye. Scratch that. I know I didn't cry as I was taken away. I know the sky falls down every day. The sun drops into the ocean and splashes browns and reds and yellows and oranges into the world outside my window. A million leaves from 100 different branches dip in the wind, fluttering with the false promise of flight. The gust catches their withered wings, only to force them downward, forgotten, left to be trampled by the soldiers stationed just below. There aren't as many trees as there were before. Is what the scientists say. They say our world used to be green, our clouds used to be white, our sun was always the right kind of light. But I have a very faint memory of that world. I don't remember much from it. The only existence I know now is the one I was given, an echo of what used to be. I press my palm to the small pane of glass and feel the cold clasp of my hand in a familiar embrace. We are both alone, both existing as the absence of something else. I grab my nearly useless pen with the very little ink I've learned to ration each day and stare at it, change my mind, abandon the effort it takes to write things down. Having a cellmate might be okay. Talking to a real human being might make things easier. I practice using my voice, shaping my lips around the familiar words, unfamiliar to my mouth. I practice all day. I'm surprised I remember how to speak. I sit up on the cloth-covered springs I'm forced to sleep on. I wait. I rock back and forth and wait. I wait too long and fall asleep. My eyes open to 2 eyes, 2 lips, 2 ears, 2 eyebrows. I stifle my scream, my urgency to run, the crippling horror gripping my limbs. You're a and you're a girl. He cocks an eyebrow. He leans away from my face. He grins, but he's not smiling, and I want to cry. My eyes desperate, terrified, darting toward the door. I tried to open so many times I'd lost count. They locked me up with a boy. A boy, dear God, they're trying to kill me. They've done it on purpose, to torture me, to torment me, to keep me from sleeping through the night ever again. His arms are tatted up, half sleeves to his elbow. His eyebrow is missing, a ring they must have confiscated. Dark blue eyes, dark brown hair, sharp jawline, strong lean frame. Gorgeous, scratch that. Dangerous, terrifying, horrible. He laughs and I fall off my bed and scuttle into the corner. He sizes up the meager pillow on the spare bed they shoved into the empty space this morning. The skimpy mattress and threadbare blanket, hardly big enough to support his upper half. He glances at my bed, glances at his bed, shoves them both together with one hand, uses his foot to push the 2 metal frames to his side of the room, stretches out across the 2 mattresses, grabbing my pillow to fluff up around his neck. I've begun to shake. I bite my lip and try to bury myself in the dark corner. He's stolen my bed, my blanket, my pillow. I have nothing but the floor. I will have nothing but the floor. I will never fight back because I'm too petrified to paralyze. Too paralyzed, too paranoid. So you're what? Insane? Is that why you're here? I'm not insane. Scratch that. He props himself up enough to see my face. He laughs again. I'm not going to hurt you. I want to believe him. Scratch that. I don't believe him. What's your name? He asks. None his irritated exhalation of breath, I hear him turn over on the bed that used to be half mine. I stay awake all night, my knees curled up to my chin, my arms wrapped tight around my small frame, my long brown hair, the only curtain between us. I will not sleep. I cannot sleep. I cannot hear those screams again. Chapter 2. It smells like rain in the morning. The room is heavy with the scent of wet stone, upturned soil. The air is dank and earthy. I take a deep breath and tiptoe to the window, only to press my nose against the cool surface, feel my breath fog up the glass, close my eyes to the sound of a soft pitter-patter rushing through the wind. Raindrops are my only reminder that clouds have a heartbeat, that I have one too. I always wonder about raindrops. I wonder about how they're always falling down, forgetting their parachutes as they tumble out of the sky toward an uncertain end. It's like someone is emptying their pockets over the earth and doesn't seem to care where their contents falls. Doesn't seem to care that the raindrops burst when they hit the ground, that they shatter when they fall to the floor, that people curse the days the drops dare to tap on their doors. I'm a raindrop. My parents emptied their pockets of me and left me to evaporate on a concrete slab. Scratch that. The window tells me we're not far from the mountains and definitely near water, but everything is near the water these days. I just don't know which side we're on, which direction we're facing. I squint up at the early morning light. Someone picked up the sun and pinned it to the sky again, but every day hangs a little lower than the day before. It's like a neglected parent who only knows half of who you are. It never sees how its absence changes people, how different we are in the dark. A sudden rustle means my cellmate is awake. I spin around like I've been caught stealing food again. That only happened once, and my parents didn't believe me when I said it wasn't for me. I said I was just trying to save the stray cats living around the corner, but they didn't think I was human enough to care about a cat. Not me, not someone like me. But then they never believed anything I said. That's exactly why I'm here. Cellmate is studying me. He fell asleep fully clothed. He's wearing a navy blue t-shirt and khaki cargo pants, tucked into shin-high black boots. I'm wearing dead cotton on my limbs and a blush of roses on my face. His eyes scan my silhouette and the slow motion makes my heart race. I catch the rose petals as they fall from my cheeks, as they float around my body, as they cover me in something that feels like the absence of courage. Stop looking at me is what I want to say. Stop touching me with your eyes and keep your hands to your sides. And please, and please, and please. What's your name? The tilt of his head cracks gravity in half. I'm suspended in the moment. I blink and bottle my breaths. He reminds me of someone I used to know. Scratch that. Why are you here? I ask. The cracks in the concrete wall. 14 cracks in 4 walls, the floor, the ceiling, all the same slab of stone. The pathetically constructed bed frames built from old water pipes. The small square of a window, too thick to shatter. My hope is exhausted. My eyes are unfocused and aching. My finger is tracing a lazy path across the cold floor. I'm sitting on the ground where it smells like ice and metal and dirt. Cellmate sits across from me, his legs folded underneath him. His boots just a little too shiny for this place. You're afraid of me. His voice has no shape. I'm afraid you're wrong. I might be lying, but that's none of his business. He snorts, and the sound echoes in the dead air between us. I don't lift my head. My throat is tight with something familiar to me, something I've learned to swallow. 2 knocks at the door startle my emotions back into place. He's upright in an instant. No one is there, I tell them. It's just our breakfast. 264 breakfasts, and I still don't know what it's made of. It smells like too many chemicals. Lumps always. Delivered in extremes. Sometimes too sweet, sometimes too salty, always disgusting. Most of the time I'm too starved to notice the difference. He hesitates for only an instant before edging toward the door. He slides open a small slot and peers through to a world that no longer exists. He practically flings the tray through the opening, pausing only to slap his palm against his shirt. He curls his fingers into a tighter fist and clenches his jaw. He's burnt his hand. I would have warned him if he would have listened. You should wait at least 3 minutes before touching the tray, I tell the wall. I don't look at the scars gracing my small hands, at the burn marks no one could have taught me to avoid. I think they do it on purpose, I add quietly. Oh, so you're talking to me today? He's angry. His eyes flash before he looks away, and I realize he's more embarrassed than anything else. He's a tough guy, too tough to make stupid mistakes in front of a girl, too tough to show pain. I press my lips together and stare out at the small square of glass they call a window. There aren't many animals left, but I've heard stories of birds that fly. Maybe one day I'll get to see one. The stories are so wildly woven these days. There's very little to believe. But I've heard more than one person say they've actually seen a flying bird within the past few years. So I watch the window. There will be a bird today. It will be white with streaks of gold, like a crown atop its head. It will fly. There will be a bird today. It will be white with streaks of gold, like a crow atop its crown atop its head. It will fly. There will be his hand on me, 2 tips of 2 fingers, graze my cloth-covered shoulder for less than 2 seconds. And every muscle, every tendon in my body is fraught with tension that clenches my spine. I don't move. I don't breathe. Maybe if I don't move, this feeling will last forever. No one has touched me in 264 days. Scratch that. Sometimes I think the loneliness inside of me is going to explode through my skin. And sometimes I'm not sure if crying or screaming or laughing through the hysteria will solve anything at all. Sometimes I'm so desperate to touch, to be touched, to feel, that I'm almost certain I'm going to fall off a cliff in an alternate universe where no one will ever be able to find me. It doesn't seem impossible. I've been screaming for years and no one has ever heard me. Aren't you hungry? His voice is lower now, a little worried now. I've been starving for 264 days. Scratch that. No. I turn and shouldn't, but I do, and he's staring at me, studying me. His lips are only barely parted, his limbs limp at his side, his lashes blinking back. Confusion. Something punches me in the stomach. His eyes, something about his eyes. It's not him, not him, not him, not him, not him. Scratch that. I close close the world away, lock it up, turn the key so tight. Hey, my eyes break open, two shattered windows filling my mouth with glass. What is it? I focus on the window between me and my freedom. I want to smash this concrete world into oblivion. I want to be bigger, better, stronger. I want to be angry, angry, angry. Scratch that. I want to be the birds that fly away. What are you writing? The cellmate speaks again. These words are vomit. Scratch that. This shaky pen is my esophagus. Scratch that. This sheet of paper is my porcelain bowl. Scratch that. Why won't you answer me? He's too close, too close, too close. No one is ever close enough. My eyes are focused on the window and the promise of what could be. The promise of something grander, something greater. Some reason for the madness building in my bones. Some explanation for my inability to do anything without ruining everything. There will be a bird. It'll be white with streaks of gold like a crown atop its head. It will fly. There will be a bird. It will be, hey, you can't touch me, I whisper. I'm lying, is what I don't tell him. He can touch me, is what I'll never tell him. Please touch me, is what I want to tell him. But things happen when people touch me. Strange things, bad things, dead things. I can't remember the warmth of any kind of embrace. My arms ache from the inescapable ice of isolation. My own mother couldn't hold me in her arms. My father couldn't warm my frozen hands. I live in a world of nothing. Hello, world. You will forget me. Knock, knock. Cellmate jumps to his feet. It's time to shower.